All right, guys, welcome to Trading with me, Bo. It's early and I'm on my second cup of coffee, and that's your goddamn fault for tuning in. I'm just an old man flipping stocks, trying to pass my knowledge on to people before I die. We're looking at the morning prep here. We look at some charts and we talk to our friends. We still got some friends. Mindy's our friend, so's Edgar. There's some good teachers on Twitter, guys. I'm just not putting the bangers on Twitter anymore because nobody cares. They're millionaires and the people with their corporations and shit. They don't need us. They don't want us. But we still have friends, and there's some great teachers on here, like Rivster, and there's some other guys. There's Rivster, and Rivster actually likes my stuff sometimes. He's busy. These guys are busy. Okay, but we don't they don't care what I'm doing. So I'll keep sharing with you guys on YouTube for free. And if we get enough people sign up for the Discord, we'll trade live. We can also trade live on YouTube, and I clicked on that, so we'll start doing that for free, once in a while, so you could check us out. But let's look at our morning prep. And Mindy and I were talking about the IWM. We'll look at that. I'm gonna look at snow, and we read the news over here and one news story. So um, okay, so yeah, blowout. So they had earnings, guys. Okay, we're looking at the weekly chart. This is a big one, right? This goes back a couple years, and you can see how it was $400, and then it did it again, and then it crashed with everything else, and now you got a series of higher lows. It's trying to recover. This one came down pretty low, but now she's running, and you say, why is it running so bad now? Well, they just had earnings. You can read the news right here. They beat estimates right here. Okay, and there's the earnings blowout. Okay, 57 percent surprise. But look at the news for today. Powell's going to speak twice at two different times. You got PMI numbers coming out 15 minutes after the open. Oh my God! All right, be careful. The SPY was really violent yesterday. Here's the one-day chart on the SPY, and then she spiked up. And if you look at what she's been doing, she's been fighting this level. Oh, son of a bitch. It does this. Okay, that's all right, guys. So it's been fighting this level here about 455. This is a 1 hour chart. Okay. Always zoom out to get answers. And so the SPY's been chopping here at 455. And if you go back, you can see why. I'm OCD, guys, a little bit. Okay. Sorry. Let me clean that up. And so this is a trend line that we drew. And we usually draw them on the daily or the hour or the 15-minute, but whatever. This is a weekly, so it doesn't line up. And I'm not moving my line. But you can see this is the highest. This is like December 2021. And you can see at the bottom of the screen, it says 27 December 2021. And then it did it again, but a little lower in July. And you can see the trend line coming down. She's trying to break over that, guys. And if Powell runs his mouth today and says anything, this sucker's going to go to the moon. And it will. They'll do it. They'll do it. And it doesn't matter if it makes sense to us or not. It doesn't matter, okay? They will push it wherever they want to push it, just like that. And the Bitcoin's going to 40,000. I posted that this morning. Let's look at Snap. Trader Stewie. Oh, I'm sorry. Oops, that was an accident. Trader Stewie's telling us it may be overbought. He's reminding us that we got a double top on the Snap. So we'll look at the snow and the snap. And we read the news on snow. We know why it's doing what it's doing. Okay, but let's look at a 5 day because that's what I trade is a 5 minute chart. She's been a big run, man. Generally speaking, when something runs, it'll give up half of what it did. And so let's just play around with the drawing of the zones. Anywhere it's chopping, you can draw a zone. And so you guys can do this. It's chopping here, so let's draw a zone. And then drag it left, go back in time. Okay, and you can tighten it up later. And then zoom out. This is a 2 hour. I'd rather have a 1 hour. Thank you. Okay. And then just drag it left and try not to make it too much bigger or smaller, but you can tighten it up later. All right. And then zoom out again. And every time you zoom out, you get answers. Son of a bitch. Look at that. Okay. So now we know why it's chopping right there because that's the highest it's been in a long time. And it did it twice in June and again in July. So now we know why it's chopping there. Anytime you got chop, draw some lines, you'll get answers. Let's go back to the 15-minute. I like to draw on the 15-minute, okay? And so draw another zone right here on the snow. And then we can tighten it up later. I'd probably move it just a hair or something. I like to go off the body of the candles, not the wicks, okay? But right now we're just talking about drawing and it doesn't take a genius to do this. And notice I just kind of roughly covered the chop. And then zoom out to like a 1 hour and drag it left. And then zoom out again and drag it left. And son of a bitch, look at that. Right in there. Okay. I'm trying not to mess it up. All right, so look at this. Anytime you zoom out, you get answers. Thank you, Alejandro. Alejandro at King Capital. Make sure you follow all the guys at King Capital. And you can see who I'm following right here. And you want to follow all these guys. The Beat the Bell show is theirs. Trading Camp podcast is theirs. Uh, King Capital, Alejandro Moneymander. Those are your King Capital guys. So drag it left and look at the chop and look at this little flag was going on. You can see the activity here in this zone. Okay, so we draw lines and then or zones and then we drag them left to go back in time to get answers. You could do the same thing right here, guys. Look at this massive chop right here. Okay, and I'm going to move this up just a little bit like that. Okay, and then we'll zoom out and we're going to drag it left. All right, and we're going to zoom out again and drag it left. And again, we get answers. And let's examine this together. I don't have to go back any further. You can see how this zone, it wicks off the zone, it bounces off the zone. Right here, it wicks off the zone. We'll zoom in. You see how it respects this zone. Look at that shit right there, man. And so, again, wicking off the zone, showing support in the zone right here. And so you guys can do this. Learn to draw your own lines and charts. And there's good teachers, like I said, Ripster. There's a lot of good teachers on Twitter. But you should learn to draw your own lines and zones, especially when something's running like the snow. Let's go back to the 5 day. I like to analyze what's going on the 15-minute chart. I trade the 5 minute. But when I'm doing research like this and drawing lines and trying to figure out what I'm going to do today, I like to look at the 15-minute and the 1 hour, and you'll get answers. Okay. The 1 hour is it's easier to see what's going on. In the 15-minute, I like to draw lines on. My general rule is when something runs, it gives up half of what it did before. Okay, that's just a general rule. Okay, and I'll just plug it right the fuck in there. All right, and it doesn't have to be perfect, and it won't be perfect. But if she goes in here somewhere, I'm going to be paying attention. Okay, maybe for an entry. I like to draw lines on charts, and it works for me, so I do it. And there was a trend going on here, and we're going to keep it right along the bottom of these candles here. These green ones is what I'm looking for. Okay, and I don't want all of them. I want the body of the movement. So this is good. This is good. This one, I don't know. But I lined it up with this one because most of these line up like this one, and this one, and this one. And then down here at the very bottom, I don't like that. I want to see the first retracement or whatever. First show of support, whatever you want to call it. And so this is what we have, right? And there's your target entry. And she comes down here somewhere. I would look for it. If it's crashing, I would look for it to stop and reverse right in here somewhere. So that's our target entry on the snow. We'll see if it works. And let's look at the snap, okay? But you got to have a plan, guys, and you don't want to listen to me or anyone else. You want to learn to do your own shit, and then you'll learn what works for you, and then you don't need me or anybody else. I just teach you the stuff I know, and let's practice the risk management, right? If we're buying these calls on Snap, or when we think it's going to go up, it's 1380, and it just jumped from 12 okay, to 14 in like 2 days. Don't buy the $20 calls, man. If you're going too far out of the money, it has to move so far for you to. And I know if you don't have a lot of money, you can't afford the Amazon or Microsoft. So I like the Snap. I like the Rivian. These cheap stocks, you can get options for 20, $30, and you can get them at the money or just below or out of the money. I don't like to go too far out of the money because then you need such a big movement. You're disappointed. It moves the way you want it, but it doesn't give you a profit. So that's because you're going too far out of the money most of the time. So you can see how this sucker's respecting the chop zone we had drawn, and it's way above the trend line that we had going on. And so she's going to the moon, right? Yeah, well, she is. I mean, and nothing says she has to stop. Okay, I posted yesterday somewhere. I don't know where I posted it. That I posted again this morning. The old saying, the market can stay irrational longer than we can stay liquid. Go with the trend, my friends. So nothing says it has to come back down halfway, to where it was. Okay. But for me to get an entry, um, I don't chase, man. I've lost a lot of money with FOMO and the fear of missing out. It took me a long time to conquer that shit. Go watch some of Umar's videos. He's a good teacher. He has lots of YouTube videos about risk management, trading like a casino, conquering the fear of missing out. The psychological and mental aspects of trading are so important to not chase things. And here, let's look at a mistake right here. So anyhow, there's your entry for Snap if you're looking for calls. I'd be looking for puts, and the way we're doing that is I'll be looking for this. I trade the 5 minute chart and the 20-day moving average, and she's going to open 1382, which is below the 20-day moving average, right? And we like to mark the opening print from yesterday, and so we do that, and it just went down because it had such a spike up overnight, right? So I'd look for a little spike up and then a dump. But here's the thing, man, the numbers come out 15 minutes after the open, and if the market starts running and everything else will start running, you just got to follow the trend, man. But if I'm going to go into calls, I'm looking for an entry here. And if it's going to dump, I'm looking for it to dump to here. So if generally speaking things are going red and this thing's going down, I would get into the puts and I would expect to sell as it comes down in here. But I also tell people sell anytime it's up 20, 30, 40% and get your money off the table. Let's look at a mistake and talk about fear of missing out and psychological aspects of trading, right? And notice I pull the zones to the right as the time goes on. So we've been hitting, we were killing them, and we get overconfident. And then we also had to pay some bills today. So a couple days ago, I took a swing at this on a red candle. It spiked, and then I took on the red candle. I knew it was bullshit, and it was. It went right back up. But I got stopped out really fast on one, and the other one I held. And the one I held, I ate big chorizo on it because you could see what happened, and it happened fast. And this thing's violent, so I held, and I ate it. Okay, a big fat one. And then yeah, I did. And then down here, I got in heavy and sold into this and actually stopped out and got most of my money back from the one I screwed up. Trading too much and too early is a common mistake. And when you're confident because you've been hitting so many times, especially on the same stock, and I trade this almost every day, um, you'll get overconfident. You'll go too heavy on your next trade. And again, Umar teaches that. You got to watch those videos he has on psychological, the mental game. And so we had a target entry right here, and we were smart enough not to go all in. It was a small trade, but when it came close to our target entry, I said, that's it. It's got a green candle. And on the second one, the second green candle gave us a reversal and it was close to the target entry. Then we went in. So we looked at the snow and we looked at, I like retracements, guys. I want retracements. I don't want to buy it while it's running. Okay. And then keep in mind, you got to follow the trend. And we have news today. We have numbers, the Fed speaking. The spy's been very violent and it faked out everybody yesterday. I had posted that I had bought a little put right here and I went to the store and it went down while I was at the store. Did I make money? No, I did not. Why? Because of time value. There was chop in here, see? And so also I was pretty far out of the money. And again, if you go too far out of the money, it can go down the way you bet it. I bet it goes down. Well, it did go down. I still lost because I was too far out of the money. So follow the trend, okay? Follow the trend. And then when you got a profit, take it, guys. You can do this. I wish you luck. Go get them, guys. Take their lunch money today, okay?